Senator Eric Schmitt, Republican of the great state of Missouri, is here, and he serves on the Judiciary, Armed Services, and Commerce Committees. He's also served as Missouri's Attorney General. Great to have you on the program now. I can dig in deeper. What does this mean for sanctuary cities? Because that's the first thing I thought of. I'm like, okay, if people are going to self-deport, does that help us out with them fighting ICE?
By the way, I can't miss the opportunity to do the sovereignty wins the Kentucky Derby,
right?
And sovereignty now is winning, right, in America.
Over journalism.
And that's right, over journalism,
I can't celebrate
right?
that too much, but I do like the fact that sovereignty is winning.
That's right. And by the way, for the record, I did bet on sovereignty, a small amount, but did win. So I was betting on sovereignty all along. And the American people, by the way, bet on that too when they sent President Trump back into office. And he's delivering on that.
I see where you're going there.
Thank you very much.
All
Thank
right.
you very much. But yeah, I think that's what we're seeing. Every tool is being used now at the president's disposal to make good on his campaign promise to close the border and deport people who are here illegally. Now we see a 95 to 99% reduction in illegal border crossings. That's huge, and that's just in 100 days. And it just goes to show you we didn't need any new laws like the Democrats wanted. We just needed a new president. He's delivered on that. Now, how do we, deal with the 15 to 20 million people here who are here illegally? You see ICE then going after these criminal alien elements, these gangs that are here illegally, but also trying to figure out the most cost-efficient way to get people back to where illegally. And I would point out that for the history of the United States of America, this had kind of been how it went. You came here illegally, you were detained. Unless there was a reason like a valid asylum claim, even though 9 out of 10 of those are bogus, you were allowed to stay until that was adjudicated, right? Or you're sent back. The problem is the last 4 years, nobody was being sent back. Why is it that just now we're discovering these criminal alien elements that are being, ICE is raiding and sending back home? Because the Biden administration didn't want to enforce the laws on the book. We finally have a president that's doing it, and he's showing real results. So I think they're using every tool at their disposal, and it'll be effective.
Senator, there's another reason. The Biden administration also didn't put a fine point on the victims. So they didn't elevate these cases to a national level the way that some of us did in the media. So they just kind of kept walking like nothing was happening. Look, I have one lingering question. We'll move on. So these hearings that are part of this whole idea of due process, what's your take on the president being attacked? Because people say, well, the illegal aliens aren't getting due process. What are they really afforded and can have, and what is just really not something that they are entitled to?
Well, you've got sort of the Alien Enemies Act bucket. We'll kind of keep that separate. Then you have the normal immigration process where, for example, Bill Clinton deported 12 million people, right? This idea that this is somehow new, the left is completely showing their cards here. They're all in for open borders. They don't want any of the 15 to 20 million people here illegally to be sent back home because they know it affects congressional redistricting, number of electoral votes, because you don't need to be a citizen to be counted in the census. They're playing for 2030. But to answer your question, whether it's a habeas petition or just the normal process, they're afforded due process with an immigration judge. That can happen really quickly. Biden never did that. The president is processing those and abiding by the law, which is why you're seeing a number of people and you're going to ultimately see millions of people deported through that normal process. The Alien Enemies Act, the president has the authority to declare a predatory incursion, which is exactly what he's done. A district court doesn't get to do that. That's a different deal, and he's moving forward. And by the way, the Supreme Court has already slapped down Boasberg by saying, yeah, the president can make that determination. The district court cannot. So you've got kind of two tracks. One's more expedited for the worst of the worst,
but
and the other
choices.
is a normal process. He's got choices, and I think he's going to use them all, and he should.
Yeah. Okay. President Trump says he's reconsidering reopening Alcatraz prison to detain some illegal immigrants. Let's watch.
Where did you get the idea for reopening Alcatraz?
Just an idea I've had, and I guess because the judges, so many of these radicalized judges, they want to have trials for every single, think of it, every single person that's in our country illegally, that came in illegally. That would mean millions of trials, and it's long been a symbol, Alcatraz. It's a sad symbol, but it's a symbol of law and order. And, it's got quite a history, frankly.
Senator Schmitt, your reaction?
Yeah, this is what the Democrats, they lose their mind because of Trump derangement syndrome, but why President Trump has been so effective. Alcatraz means something, right? And so when you have a law and order president, you're dealing with two tracks here. One is punishment. People ought to be punished for the crimes they've committed. And also deterrence. It works in foreign policy. It has worked now with our border. People know if they try to come here illegally, they're not getting in, they're going to be turned away. So if you're the worst of the worst, if you're a criminal who's coming here illegally, the idea of being on an island in Alcatraz is a deterrent. And that's exactly what President Trump is doing. He's saying we need more space, and there ought to be a space dedicated for the people who are the worst among us who've come here illegally and have committed crimes. And so it's all sort of working in one direction here. And I think President Trump is very smart to put this out there and actually have a place where the worst of the worst go in our country, because that's kind of how we've always done things. It's only recently that the left has just sort of decided that there's not going to be punishment for crimes, whether it's on illegal immigration or the Soros prosecutors in our cities. They knew they were going to get away literally with murder. They knew they would get away literally with murder, and that is changing because we have a law and order president.
That Soros money, and now with Alexander, his son, in charge of it too, perhaps even farther left of his father, it is something worth watching. Senator, a pleasure to have you in focus today. Thank you.
Good to be with you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.